Hello everyone, I'm The Worm. I'm back with some more Raging Loop. Last time, we had our first feast, and quite a lot of important ideas were brought up there. First and foremost of all the stuff, before I talk about anything else, I'm going to talk about the roles, or as they say in the game, the divine guardian spirits. Because I think these are going to be the crux of how we try to reason out what's going on here. So let's see here. I have them written down. We have the snake, which can ask who they can ask a person once a night. They can ask if a person once a night. Sorry. Once a night, the snake can ask if a person is a wolf. Sorry, that took me a second. Then there are the two monkeys who know that the other monkey is not a wolf. So there are two people who know they are not wolves. Then there is the crow, who will know if the person who has died is a wolf or not. So I'm not clear on, let's say, there's two wolves, right? And we had on the first night, we had two people die, the two journalists. That seems to indicate that two people can die. Does the crow automatically know everyone who dies? Like they instantly know if that person was a wolf or not? Maybe. I'm not too sure about that. But the spider can keep the wolves from entering someone's house one person's house a night. Or presumably they can protect one person a night. And currently, we know of those four that Takumi has claimed to be the snake. Now here's something I'm not sure about, and I'm not sure how even if this will be that important. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and say we believe there's supernatural forces going on here, or whatever. I don't know sort of mechanically what's going on here. If these there are two wolves, but apparently the two wolves are two of the people in the village, just flat out. They said it can be anyone, okay? But does that mean, is it two people? Are they being possessed? Have they been, like body snatched in some way, or have those two people been killed and now they've been replaced by people that are exact lookalikes, or are they the two original people that have just gone crazy? That's why I said I don't understand mechanically sort of what's the deal here. But whatever it is, I guess we can assume that the two wolves are going to be able to perfectly mimic and act like the two villagers they are representing. That seems to be the conclusion that Konzo was talking about. So that's why I wanted to be clear when I said Takumi says that he is the snake. So, we're going to have to be very careful about what people say here, because even if they claim to be something, it could be a wolf trying to throw us off, or what. Because, for one, I don't even know these people well enough to judge if they're mimicking them. Takumi seemed to suggest that everyone was acting as normal as ever, so, I can't even rely on that. So, yes, we're definitely going to have to... We're going to need to know... We're going to need to know who is in what role, and that's going to be pretty important. You'd think if there was another person who was the snake, they could have said, hey, wait a minute, he's not the snake, I'm the snake. But, again, I'm not used to this sort of game, so I don't know what the exact strategy would be going forward. We're just going to have to dive right in and see how it goes. Other than that, yeah, so the plan that the group came up with for our first feast, Takumi said he was the snake and will ask if Kiyonosuke is a wolf, and the group asked the spider, whoever it may be, to protect Takumi because he has put himself in danger by revealing that he is the snake. That's if he's not a wolf at all, you know. Presumably the wolves know what's up and are going to have a strategy of their own, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think that's pretty much it. Presumably we're going back to Haruaki. I don't know if has it been a whole other day and night? I guess we'll find out. Make sure to stay hydrated. All right, let's do this. I was woken up by several voices.
本当に寝てる。あ、起きた。
Am I recording? Yes, I am. Okay.
今日のは終わったぞ。待たせたな。それはよかった。いたたたた。
Unfortunately, waking up proved that this whole mess wasn't just a nightmare.
その宴とかっていうのは単なる儀式なんです。不吉を退けるような類の。
いや、寄り合いみたいなもんだ。
Yeah, there wasn't much feasting at the feast. I'm a bit let down.
なるほど。犯人探しをする。ね。
春秋さん、くちばしの突っ込み方がだんだん露骨になってきてる。
うん。どうやら純然たる被害者らしいということに気づいたので、それなら自衛のために知識を仕入れようかと。
はあ、匠兄ちゃん、私の方から説明しといていい？
Sorry for interrupting, but the real mind-bending part of all this is, and it's something I'm curious about, is we know the game has made it plainly clear that we're going to be dying and restarting quite a bit in this. And so this question I'm about to ask may not be answered for a long time, but it's just something I'm thinking about. Will the culprits, because there's supposedly two, are they going to be the same people every time? Or is it going to change with each iteration, you know? This isn't the first visual novel I've read where something similar to that idea has occurred, where maybe the setting and people are the same, but you know, the roles get switched around. You know, like, will the guardian spirits choose the same people every time? Because if they do not, if it changes all, you know, different way around, this could that is just an added level of complexity to this that it feels a bit daunting, I'll say that. But, yeah.
ああ、そうだな。頼む。俺は片付けやらなんやらしねえと。
Takumi-san walked away.
片付けってもしかして遺体を片付けるの？
そうだね。タエバーちゃんあたりが読み人は皿長に流せとか言いそう。
So the journalists are now Yomibito, I see. You're supposed to preserve the scene of a crime, right? This is doing the exact opposite. Yeah, I'm sort of willing to accept the idea of the supernatural, but I'm always going to have a piece, like a part of my head, sort of just reserved for, well, if this is just, you know, not supernatural and just two people doing this, you know, how would that be? And yeah, if we're getting rid of the evidence, you know, that's going to make that a much difficult proposition. Then again, it didn't seem like anyone expected the cops to show up in the first place.
じゃあ早速聞きたいことがあるけど。
場所を移そうか。邪魔が入らない場所に。
ここは。
Chimi took me to the place where I'd met Rakako Uematsu and Meiko. Oh, I also read Did I say this last time? I might have said this last time. A couple people actually mentioned that Meiko is just as a nickname. And at least in my American English, a sheep makes a ba sound. But apparently for Japanese, it's like more of this meh sound. So it's just, Meiko is just a kind of, because she makes a sound like a sheep, I guess. So it's just something like that. So it's kind of cute little nickname there. It makes me think Meiko was at the feast, so I guess she's technically a potential, she's either a potential wolf or a potential guardian, which is crazy to think about. It was a grass field with stones littered all over. It bordered Saranaga.
私たちの信仰の中心はある意味ここ、首吊り松の墓所。
So his initial impression was correct.
随分と物騒な名前だ。
The place was filled with a dense mist, but it was probably thinner than that in the rest of the settlement. The sunlight seemed brighter here. I could even see a bit further. The hanging pine had to be the old-looking tree at the edge. Oh, hanging pine. Oh, okay. This is where they hang them, huh?
ここは墓地なの？
そう、集落の方の岩はなんだかわからないけど、ここのやつは明確にお墓。
Different from the ones in the settlement. Yeah, okay.
春明さん、最初にここ通った時に墓石にけつまずいてたでしょ。ダメだよ、ごめんなさいしなきゃ。
は、そうだったのか。その時に言ってほしい。安水のご先祖様たち、すみませんでした。
ごめん、怖がっちゃうと思ってさ。緊急避難とはいえ、こんな半分廃墟みたいで化け物もいる村に来てもらうんだから。
Yeah, thanks for that.
君は化け物を信じているのか？
I asked, ignoring what I'd seen for myself.
うん、信じてる。
Yeah, she definitely gave off that impression in the feast. Jimmy's voice resounded through the impossibly thick, cloudy air.
君は信じないタイプだと思ってた。
春明さんは信じる人を気持ち悪いって思っちゃうタイプかな？
それは言い過ぎかも。
嘘だ。顔に書いてある。
Was it that obvious? It wasn't like I found it disgusting or anything. I just didn't think I could get along with people who believe stuff like that despite a lack of actual proof. I see. I mean... Yeah, okay. I see where he's coming from. That was probably how it was.
じゃあ理由を聞きたいな。
理由？そんなのないよ。
そうは思えないんだが。
言ったら、そうだな。神様を見たことがあるから。
This was what, oh, sorry, Jimmy. This is what Tai Ba-chan said. And because Haru, during the feast, said... She said it's not a god or anything. Isn't it just a person using the legends as a mask so that they can be a serial killer or something? And Tai said, no, God really does exist, and everyone here has seen God. And Haru seemed to falter at that, which seemed to indicate that maybe yes, maybe all the villagers have seen something. That was a...
ほら、気持ち悪い。
詳しく聞かせてほしい。
おっと、引かないね。でもそれはともかく、もっと直近の危機について話そうよ。
She was hiding something. Yeah, I'm sure he's thinking, Haruaki's thinking similar lines to me. That perhaps the villagers have seen something, but what that something is, we'll have to see. It was either that hard to explain, or a lot more important than she was acting.
宴とやらについてか。まあ今はそれでいいや。
知恵ミエクスプレイン。
イエーイ！説明って意味ね。
The graveyard probably wasn't the best place to joke around like this, but at least you could see past your nose, and it didn't seem like we had to worry about anyone eavesdropping. I tried putting together everything Shiemi had told me. First, Fujiyoshi Village had a unique legend. There might have been similar ones somewhere outside, but I'd just treat it as a Fujiyoshi exclusive for the time being. The people here worshipped a god called Great Lord Shinai, the avatar of Shinai, or just Shinai-san. Also, the mountain this village was on was called Mount Shinai, meaning this religion deified the mountain. Anyway, sometime in the past, not known when, Shinai-san had helped the people living here by sending 5 beasts called guardians. However, just like how nature could be really harsh, he had a scary side too, and if you didn't follow his laws of the mountain, he'd curse you without mercy. The Okami-sama was the ultimate form of his cruelty. Though the Okami-sama watched over the hunt, the Okami-sama also oppressed, tortured, and punished humans. The other guardians, though, were largely benevolent ones. The snake predicted the weather and harvest yields, bolstering the humans' prosperity. The monkeys defied the wolves, secretly teaching the people fire, along with other important bits of knowledge. The crow pecked at and ate up the flesh of the Yomibito, the enemies of Shinai-san. The spider warded off the Yomibito and ensured that the humans slept and dreamt soundly. Yomibito did indeed mean people from Yomi, as in the land of the dead. But apparently, it wasn't very clear what they actually were. But just as I'd suspected before, it was thought that they had something to do with the corruption, death, and land of the Yomi. The most likely idea was that they were the dead that had returned from Yomi to bring harm to the people still alive. At the start of the legend, Shinai-san, the animals, and humans were facing the Yomibito. Apparently, that was still how it was in Kami Fujiyoshi, the leading part of Fujiyoshi. It was the basis of the teachings of the Great Lord Shinai's religion. Thanks to that, the 5 beasts, including the Okami-sama, and Shinai-san, were still worshipped there. In Yasumizu, however, things were a bit different. The legend here had a turning point when the humans, snake, monkeys, crow, and spider cooperated to kill the Okami-sama. With the destruction of their cruel rule, the human village experienced great growth. That had been when the 4 head families, who were said to have the blood of the 4 guardians in their veins, were formed. The snake was Miguruma, the monkeys were Higuchi, the crow was Nesato, and the spider was Uematsu. However, it didn't end there. The Okami-sama joined the Yomibito's side and became a sinister creature that wanted to bring harm to humans. The Saranaga Rapids were Yomibito territory, and the Okami-sama appeared from there whenever the evening mists came. The Okami-sama would then kill an inhabitant, take on their form, and act like them. But at night, they would show their true self and brutalize the inhabitants, the real inhabitants. That was why the people of Yasumizu, who lived next to Saranaga Rapids, had to stop them. For that, the Great Lord Shinai created an event called the Feast of the Yomi Purge. Despite the name, it was no banquet, but a ritual to kill the wolf. In the feast, the villagers were allowed to kill 1 person a day. You had to basically kill your own people, something that was taboo for ages. But it was permitted here in order to rid the group of the wolf. Some humans were also given the power of the guardians, snake, monkeys, crow, and spider. It was like a banquet of betrayal. They all drank some sake and chose someone to kill.
それが今ここで起きてることの大体の説明かな。
なるほど。
It was a lot to unpack, but I got the gist of it. Basically, the humans betrayed the Okami-sama, one of their guardian divinities, and were still paying the price. But there were some points I didn't really get.
ちえみちゃんにだけ言うけど、僕はどうもその狼様ってのを見たかもしれない。
嘘。どこで？
トイレのドアの隙間から見えたようなって感じなんだけど。
I couldn't tell her that I'd had a realistic dream where I was killed.
人間の体に狼の頭だったような気がする。
I mean, that looked kind of all wolf to me. That looked sort of, you know, like a werewolf. I guess that's what he's saying. He's just saying like werewolf, human body, head of a wolf. It was all covered in fur. Yeah.
嘘。
ああ、それはこいつマジで目撃してるって意味でいいのかな。
うん。新内さんのお祭りでも狼様は人身露面で描かれるし、上富士吉に祀られてる像もそうだし。
ちなみに僕はその前後に女性の悲鳴を聞いている。だから僕はあいつが間宮さんを殺したのだと思った。それはいわゆる血祭りなのか？殺して入れ替わるの話だったら、彼女の死体が出るわけはないし。
ごめん、説明し忘れた。新内さんの掟は厳しいから逆らうと様々な罰が与えられるそうで。
さっき言ってたやつのことかな。
つまりその宴の支度としてお風呂に入って一人で鍵かけて閉じこもって寝るというのに触れちゃったから。だから汚れで死んじゃったということだと思うわけ。
I couldn't see how you could get such mutilated corpses from something called the corruption, but there was something more important.
ということはあの夜、君はその掟の存在も知らせずに僕を便所満化し、挙句に死なせる気満々だったんだな。
Yeah, this is what I was getting hung up on.
違うよ。あのね、正直よそ者はどうやっても助からないって思ったんだ。
So you did know it was happening.
だけどせめてもしかしたら生き残れるかもしれない方法を伝えたくて。見殺しは嫌だったから。
Wow, that's cold. So they knew it was gonna happen and just like let the journalists and I guess the thought process is, hey, we'll let him try and get his bike up and running, but if he doesn't, he's dead anyway, so whatever. That sounds so cold. And same with those journalists. The journalists could have left. They could have just told them, hey, you guys should really leave tonight. That's kind of crazy.
そしてなんと本当に生き残ったと。
うん。春明さんには悪いけど相当意外だった。
I don't know how to feel about this.
残念だったね。ブッシュ殺されなくて。
ふざけないで。私は春明さんが死ななくて本当に良かったと思ってる。
I feel like if you were really concerned, you would have had us actually do the preparations, even if we're an outsider, right? I don't know. Maybe she thought we could get the bike up and running in time. I don't know. I wasn't sure how to feel about this, but hey, at least she tried, right? She did come and get us and then, you know, at least had us hide in the outhouse, so at least that's true.
ふむ。じゃああの悲鳴は結局間宮さんの断末魔なのか？それとも狼にやられた別の誰か？
それはちょっと。
例えばぶっちゃけてあの時の悲鳴が君のもので、君はすでに狼だって話も考えられるのか？
Sorry, I think I misunderstood. So they're saying that the two journalists weren't... Their deaths weren't part of this whole... The story we were just told, with the whole history and all that. They got killed because of... They said corruption, and that's because they didn't prepare. But they weren't technically killed They weren't technically killed by the wolves? Is that it? They were killed by corruption and not the wolf. Those are two different things, right? That's what I think they're saying. They got killed by corruption, which is if you don't prepare. And then there are the actual wolves that do the killing, and that hasn't happened yet. That hasn't started yet. Right? At least I think that's what they're saying.
まあ話の上はもちろん私は自分が狼じゃないって知ってるし、そう言うけど。
It would be great if I could fully believe that.
みんなそう言いますよ、
Yeah.
と。
その通りだけどね。
Now this was a predicament.
質問その1。
はいどうぞ。
狼様が2人いるってことの根拠はあのマークだけなの？
I recalled the strange symbols on the large rock. The two warped diamonds with spirals inside.
あれは黄泉から戻った狼様の印だから、あれが2つあるってことは2人だってことだと思う。
Stands to reason. I don't like how it's not certainty.
憶測なわけだね。
Yeah.
でも多分そうだよ。山祭りっていうのがあって、毎年お守りの仮装行列みたいなのが出るんだけど。
Okay.
狼様の役が何人出るか似たような方法で発表されるから。
You have these annual festivals. Okay. So obviously whoever did it was whoever put those marks there would be aware of that.
そもそも狼様は複数人いるのが普通なのか？
うん。一応神内様の社には3人の狼様の像が飾ってある。
The wolf we saw had 3 eyes. Does that mean anything?
お祭りに何人の狼様が出るかは占いか何かで身車が決めてるみたいだけど、決まったら夜の間にサインを出すんだ。
ああやって岩に何か書くのか？
うん、置き場、ああいう岩は上富士吉にないから。そうじゃなく社の境内の地面に描かれるらしいよ。
Stones are called okiba? Is that it?
.らしい。
安水の者はお守りのご来訪を安水で待つ習わしだから見たことないんだ。
とにかくその時にあのマークが1個書かれてたら行列には1人だけ狼様の役がいると。
厳密には違うかな。上富士吉の狼様のサインはもっとちゃんとした綺麗なひし形だし、あのひし形にぐるぐるってなったのは地獄から復活した狼様のサインで、その話って安水にしかないし。
なるほど。でもどっちにしろそこで示された数の分だけ狼様が行列に加わると。
そうそう、お祭りだと3人いたらめでたいらしいよ。
Jimmy herself didn't look the least bit happy to talk about it. Anyway, all I had to take from this, there were at most 3 Okami-sama, wolves. I had to fix my perception of the situation. The wolves were a group of 3 werewolves. I wasn't too well versed in myths and folklore, but I certainly hadn't heard of any Japanese myth about werewolves or wolfmen. I did hear of Jinmenken and of possession by fox spirits, but werewolves did seem like a very European thing. On the other hand, the fact that there were 3 of them seemed pretty standard. I guessed it had something to do with presentation, trinities and all that. Though the idea of 3 werewolves did seem a bit excessive in terms of content. Anyway, I now had a better grasp of the situation. That made it easier to understand what was going on here.
じゃあ他の守護獣の加護を受ける人は何人いるの？
猿だけ2人で他は1人だよ。
そうか。じゃあお守りが5人に狼が2人、他はただの人と。狼が複数いるのは参ったな。
Yeah, that's tough.
手強いって意味で？
それもあるけど、一日に一人しか殺せないんだろ？複数いればそれだけ全滅までに時間がかかることになる。ああ、そうか。狼が一人しかいなかったらカラスもいるはずないのか。
どうして？
カラスの能力は死体が狼か人間かを判別するってものだよね。
If there's only one, then you just win, right?
つまり狼が死んでも変身が解けて正体を晒したりはしない。多分普通に人間っぽい死体が残るんだ。だからカラスの能力は有用になる。彼がいなければ鑑定はできないってわけ。
That makes sense too.
それはそうかも。だけどそれと狼の数の関係は？
もし狼が一人しかいないとします。狼が殺されました。何が起きる？
ちえみさん思考停止中。
答えは何も起きない。正確には狼による殺人が止まる。ゲームクリア。人類の勝利ってわけだ。
Yeah.
あ、そういうことか。つまり狼が一人だけなら殺人の有無イコール狼の生死。カラスの加護がいらないんだ。
ご明察。
春明さん鋭い。
いや、気づいても何にもならないポイントだし。
にしてもこの状況でよく頭が回るよ。やっぱただの学生じゃなくない？
じゃあ何だって言うんだい？
A visual novel protagonist.
探偵とか。
いいね。田舎の難事件を解決しに来た名探偵ってわけだ。横溝正史の世界だね。
Whatever that reference is, it's going straight over my head.
普段は浮気調査と債務調査が仕事。
急にリアルになったな。ともかく他にも聞きたいことはある。狼は一日に何人まで殺せる？今日の晩には全員皆殺しとかだったら話にならないんだけど。
I have this question too, actually.
それもないでしょ。さっきの話だけど蛇とかは誰を調べるか今夜山に聞くそうだし。
そうだろうね。雲だって一人守って自分含む他が全滅ならばやはり役に立たないカゴだ。いや、最初に疑問だったのがね、間宮さんと橋本さん二人死んでるのは血祭りの結果なのかどうかさ。二人殺せるのでも相当にヤバい。しかし一日に一人なら、あるいはまあそうなると別の疑問も出るけど、人知を超えた化け物が複数いてなぜに殺す数について自重してるのか。
不思議かな。
だってそうでしょ。3匹とかいたら1人分の肉をシェアするなんてお腹すくんじゃない？
狼は多分人間を食べるって目的で襲ってるんじゃないよ。
ふむ、単純に復讐で惨殺してるって？
それもよくわからないけど、別に狼はそうしたいからそうしてるんじゃなくて、狼もまた何かの掟みたいなものに従ってるんじゃないかなって気がする。
That was what bothered me so much. The Feast of the Yomi Purge had rules, and breaking them would mean being taken by the corruption, some sort of supernatural punishment from Shinai-san. If this was really just divine retribution, surely he would want the Yomibito done away with immediately. However, instead, the humans retained the aid of their guardians, and only one kill was permitted each day. Even the wolves couldn't break that rule. Were the laws of the mountain equally binding to both man and wolf? In Christian theology, both humans and Satan were God's creations, equal before him and all acting based on his master plan. Was the god of the mountains similarly inclined? A legend of slain wolves and their revenge. Was it really that simple? Or was there something else going on? It was quite scary, and I wanted to know all about it.
少なくとも狼が何人殺すかは年配の方々に確認した方がいいかも。
Very important information.
そうだね。というか本当に今夜また誰かが殺されるのかな。
もう2人も死んでるじゃん。実際は顔を盗まれた誰かも死んでるかもしれないけど。
Yeah. It was a thought I was having as well. Yeah.
まずい。死体片付けるならできるだけ調べておかないと。複数人の死体が混じってないかとか。
それ朝一で肝臓じいちゃんが調べた。骨も内臓も2人分しかないって。
Okay.
え、本当？彼はプロなの？
漁師だから動物ばらすのは得意よ。
He did say he had a gun. Well, that made sense.
関連して思い出した。ある意味もっと大事なことだ。どうしてここを逃げ出して警察を呼ぼうとしない？
Yeah, like sending a runner or something.
はぐらかさず話してもらうよ。僕は今自分が取れる最善の手段としてそうすべきだと思っているんだからね。
I was aware the people here were superstitious, but those superstitions are getting people killed. So why was not a single person objecting?
ここからは逃げられない。
どういう意味か話せない？
ちょっと難しいけど私たちは知ってるんだ。どうやったってここから逃げられない。この霧を抜けることは絶対にできない。知っているからあえてそれをやりたくない。
それは体験または教育された？
ごめん、はっきりはわからないんだ。ただ知っている。
That's probably not good enough for him.
宴が始まれば誰も休みずからは逃げられない。
Well, there's one way to immediately test it. Pick a direction and start running, Haruaki. Let's test it. So it wasn't logic, but blind conviction. Or perhaps she'd subconsciously gained that knowledge through some experience. Yeah, as if.
根拠はないがここからは出られないと思うわけだ。
So he's skeptical of his impossible memories he has. I think he called it a dream just earlier this episode. Dream memories? Yeah.
そうだね。多分みんなそう言うと思う。
ただの妄信である可能性は否定しない？
否定はできない。
山の神に無視されたらしい僕が一人で外に行ってみるよというのを提案したらどうかな？
私は全力で止める。他の人がそれに賛成したとしたら春明さんは死んでもいいって意味。
So it's not just we can't leave, you're saying you'll die? That was pretty scary.
心配してもらえてるってことかな？
休みずで一番心配してますよ。
ありがとう。愛を感じるよ。
愛？
She was going all red on me now. This seems to be taking it pretty far for an act.
違います。良識ゆえです。
他の人が良識がないかのような。
少なくともみんなよそ者に対しては見た目よりずっと冷たいと思った方がいいよ。私は半分よそ者みたいなものだからそれがわかるし、親近感は持ってるかな。
親近感でツーリングにも同意したと？
いや、だってあれが根性の別れになるかもしれなかったし、それならせめて色良い返事をしとこうかなとか。
うわ、道場からの空手形かよ。じゃあこれ抜け出したら改めて誘うぞ。
どうしようかな。あ、でもバイク壊れたから無理じゃ。
Yes, it is.
デートのためならローンで買い直すし。
デート？そうか、そうなるか。でも学生でローンはまずいでしょ。あとどっちにしてもこれで OK したら死ぬ前振りみたいになるから出られてから考えよう。そうしよう。
Careful, careful. Let's not trip any flags now. Shit, first she was all over me and now she's playing hard to get. In normal circumstances, that could be kind of fun, but right now she was the only one I could rely on. The emotional support would have been nice.
話戻るけど、警察については別に今じゃなくても期待できないかな。
超常現象だから？
うん、それもあるけど、上藤吉には駐在さんがいるだけだし、安水で何が起きたって上藤吉は何もしてくれないからね。
うすうす思ってたことがあるんだけど。
正解。
I hadn't even said anything yet.
そうです。安水ってのは要するに藤吉村の中の村8部の集落なんです。
You mean lately or historically? She really did guess what I was going to say. Ostracism. In ancient times, villages often punished criminals and the like by ostracizing them. They were ignored and excluded from all social welfare aid. Basically, people were excluded from the larger group and treated coldly. It was one step away from banishment. It wasn't just emotional torment either. Back in those days, not getting the help of other people was a matter of life and death, making this quite a harsh punishment.
何かやった人なの？
そういうわけじゃない人のが多い。牧島さんちや山脇さんちや室さんちは大昔から安水のものだし。
You say families. This is something I found odd too, but like Muro, there's only one Muro and there's only one Yamawaki. Like, did the rest of Takumi's family leave at some point?
内緒にしてくれる？
もちろん。
織部香織さんはもともと樋口家によそから嫁いできたけど、旦那さんがちょっとヘマをして亡くなって。
Okay, so I was correct in thinking that it was a Higuchi. But this is quite a vague way to describe this. Messed up somewhere down the line and died, huh?
それでまだ小さかったヤスくん連れてこっちに移り住まされたって聞いてる。
Well, that wasn't a pleasant story. I had heard ostracism still survived even in this day and age. Some rural groups would brazenly cut off your gas or water supplies if you didn't fit in. Then again, neighbors in the cities had their own communication problems. Basically, humans hadn't really changed much over the years. Still, ostracism because of family troubles? In this day and age. It seems so weird, ugly, and behind the times.
モッチーなんて野里家の元嫡男だからね。お坊ちゃまなんだよ、実は。
Okay. Here's some information. Mochi. Yeah, because I did originally think maybe he was Miguruma, but then Chiemi had a comment where she said, there's no one here from Miguruma, disowned or otherwise, so that cut off that. Mochi is of the Nasato family and apparently the heir apparent. And she said Guy, an heir apparent, an actual blue. That makes his choice of dress rather interesting.
そうなの？
I'm sure there's a story behind that.
うん、清之助さんとはおじとおいの関係。
No kidding. How about that? They were nothing alike.
ただ、モッチーちょっと変なので、養子に出されてそのまま休みず行き。
Wow. Yeah, unique, certainly. I could tell that. And then put up adoption for one thing, but then just sent packing to live here by himself? That's quite something. Oh, yeah. Kinosuke had said something like that. Sheesh, what century did they think it was?
君は？
ちょっと悪さが過ぎまして。
昔は荒れてたとか？
まあそういうのダメ？
むしろタイプ。
Uh-oh.
責めるね、お兄さん。
With her pulling hit and runs, I really had no choice. kind of getting to the end point here. Maybe a bit more. Anyway, this place was basically abandoned. I couldn't expect help from any outside help, and everyone here believed they couldn't escape this place due to supernatural reasons. Excuse me. What were my options here? Oh my goodness. How about we leave this for next time? Okay, this time it was a good episode this time. Cleared up a lot of my questions, added some new ones, but I think I'm going to have to, obviously, I'm going to have to watch this back and write it down more clearly so I can get it all straight in my head. But, yes, good for Haruaki for straightening out a lot of the issues. And next time, I'm going to leave you a little cliffhanger. I think it's appropriate considering we're at the cliff, I think. Which will I choose? Will I stay or will I go? I'll leave that for next time. All right. Hope you're all doing well, and see you next time for more Raging Loop.